All right, hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. So today I was playing around with making a couple of journaling cards for an upcoming journal that I'll be making, and I really like the way that they turned out, so I thought while I'm doing that I could also do a couple of postcards to be able to put in my show. So you guys won't see this until Monday, but my show will have already passed. It is on Sunday. And then I do have a couple more cards to do. These are just watercolor scraps, just scrap cutoffs from other projects that I've already taped up the edges on. And then these, the ones that I'm using for the postcards, are the Strathmore watercolor postcards, which I love how they feel and they make great postcards, but I actually really do not like the way that watercolor works on them. So I thought it would be worth it to, does it matter which direction these go? I don't think so. But I thought it would be worth it to play with these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So you can see here, I'm using a variety of stamps. Some of these are Tim Holtz, and then some of them are just random stamps that I got off of Amazon forever ago. This is one of the ones off Amazon. I honestly, I could not tell you. I have no idea. But I forgot to grab one of my stamping blocks. 1 second. Okay. I've got paint on this one, apparently. I do not take good care of my stamping blocks. So for this, I am going to use the archival ink in jet black. The ink needs to be archival. If it is not waterproof, it will run when you do the next steps. So I'm just going to quickly put a little bit of background on here with this texture stamp, and then I will be back with you. Okay, so you can see how you easily just get some little bit of texture to the background there. So now I'm going to go in with these ones. I don't know if you can see that. These ones. So there's some like, why can't I think of the word that is right now? Anyway, there's some script and then whatever the heck that is. You know what it is. I can't think of words right now. But this, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to use my smaller stamp block because, there we go. I don't need the whole stamps for these. I just want to get parts of them on there. Okay, so I think that's enough of that. And now I get to play fill in the blanks. So this is the Tim Holtz set. I think it was Field Notes. And I've lost one of them. I don't know where it went. I'm very sad. But, well, I'll just keep that one out because I will use that one. So we'll use a couple of these to fill in some of the empty space. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for the Mr. Tim Holtz. See me making messes out of my hands? If you're not making messes, you're not having fun. And then I have, here we go. Just a couple of stamps to fill in the rest of the space. So we'll go ahead and quickly do that. Okay, so I am happy with these. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit all of these on the screen. Probably not. No, not quite. That's okay. You don't need to see too well what I'm doing for the next steps. So I'm going to give these just a little bit of time to dry. This is very porous paper, so they really don't need much. And then I'm just going to take my paper plate palette here and put a little bit of acrylic paint down on it. This is Teddy Bear Tan by Folk Art. It doesn't have to be this color. You can use any color you want. I'm actually going to make some of the backgrounds more black on these because I thought that would be fun. But again, the reason I'm using acrylic ink, or acrylic paint, sorry, is because I don't want this to smudge in the next steps, and acrylic paint will stay. I gotta move that out of the way. Acrylic paint will stay put once you get it down. So I'm just using a really light wash of this so you'll still be able to see all the lovely stamping we did underneath. And I'm not caring to make this too even or anything like that. It's supposed to look a little weathered. And I'm just going to cover these up, some of them with this tan color and then some of them with watered down black. Okay, so that's good. These are not 100% dry. That's okay. I just wanted them mostly dry because the next step is going to be splatters, and I'm going to work on these in color batch. So for the ones with the tan background, I'm going to do tan splatters and black splatters, which, by the way, was why I was using my fan brush earlier, because it is my splatter brush, so it was already sitting in my water, ready to go. You do not have to use the fan brush for the first part of this. Use whatever you have. And I'm just going to add some tan and black splatters. Get a little more water if they're getting too small. And this is just personal preference. I like to dry the spots in between. That way the black and the tan won't run into each other. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and set these ones off to the side. They'll have time to air dry while we do the other ones. Okay, and I'm a little sad that I only did 2 of these. I meant to do 3 of them. I meant to make another one of the smaller ones black, but that's okay. It's not like I can't go back and do them again at some other point. So to these ones, I'm going to do the exact same thing, only I'm going to add the splatters with the tan and then with white. Okay, so there we go. I'm quickly going to wash my hands up and clean off my mat here a little bit, and then I will be back with you guys for the next step. Okay, so we're ready for the next step. I'm going to kind of like somewhat walk you guys through this with just one of them, and then the rest of them I'm going to do just sped up. So I am personally using, for reference, my drawings from my 100-day project from this last year. So you can just look up references if you want. I do suggest using references unless you are like completely confident in what you're doing. I am not good enough yet at florals to feel like I am that confident with it. I mean, somewhat, but not much. So I'm going to use these for a reference, and then that's pretty. Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, so I'm going to use some references for these, and basically I'm just going to pick one out, and I'm using my Poscas here. Whoop. So I have, there we go. I have red, green, yellow, white, and black, and those are the only ones I'm using for this personal project because I kind of want it to be mostly red, white, and black focused. Obviously for leaves I need green, and then for a couple of centerpieces and stuff I need the yellow. So I'm gonna give these another good shake up because they're all almost very much dried out, so I need to get them going again. But I'm just gonna choose one of my reference pictures and get right on it. Okay, so that is the base, and you can tell, unfortunately, my pens are getting a little dried out, so I had to go over it more than once, and it's still not perfect, but as long as your stuff is good and fresh and up to date, then you should be fine. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move over now to my gouache. The reason that I prefer using gouache is because I like the smoothness and like the kind of matte finish of it. And I have a Hemi gouache set is what I'm using. So basically now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to start adding details. So just, you know, like the flower lines and stuff that show direction. So okay, really quick, I did want to mention before I get into it, when you're doing highlights with gouache, you want to make sure it's really pale. So you can see here, this pink is the same one that I used. Where'd you go? There you are. Here. So you can see that little bit of highlight in there. And it needs to be a lot lighter than you think because gouache does dry very much darker than you would think. So let's see here. I gotta find my lines again since it's just one big blob. Okay, so I wanted to show you here. If you see that ring around, that's where the paint is dry. So this is the color it is when it's wet, and that darker pink, that's the color it is when it dries. So that's what I meant by you want to make it a lot lighter than you think you have to. Okay, so normally I'd add a little bit more like texture and stuff to the leaves, but because this one's a poppy, it's got tons of little hairs and stuff coming off of it, and I think that's going to be a lot easier to do with a micron pen. So this is the micro line. I don't remember where I got these, probably Amazon, when I couldn't find microns for like years. Okay, maybe not years, but it was a little while. But so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and I'm going to add those little spiky textures with this pen. Okay, so that is a really good way to make your hand want to go dead. I'm going to quickly remove this tape and then we can do the borders. Quick tip, if you're removing tape like this from watercolor paper and you don't want to take the risk of ruining your image, pull away from it. That way, if any of the paper does pull up, it will not ruin the image. Okay, so you could leave it just like this. And by the way, don't worry about the warping. Really, all you have to do is just really lightly dampen this side and then lay something flat on top of it until it dries, and it'll dry perfectly flat. But I prefer a border. So this is very simple, very easy. I'm just going to take my ruler. And one of my Poscas, I'm going to go with the red one on this one because I think it'll be nice to have that bright pop of red. I'm going to slightly overlap where the edge is on this. And if you are worried about this bleeding anywhere, it dries really fast, so you don't have to worry about it. Just grab a wet paper towel, and that works fine. I don't currently have a wet paper towel next to me, so I'm using my arm. All right, so that's done. I like doing a double border. You absolutely do not have to do this. This is just a personal preference of mine, and I'm going to line it up right with that previous line that I did, the red one. That way it'll leave a little bit of a gap in between the two. I am clearly in need of a new black Posca. So I'm going to have to get that pretty soon here. But if there's any spots you need to clean up, you can just go in with a white Posca. Make sure you don't go too thick though, because it is going to be slightly different color from the paper. But I think that's good. That should work out. So yeah, that's how they look. Let me show you the other two ones that I've already done. So there's these two that have the red, and then this one has the white. And yeah, so I'm just going to keep going at this, and I will see you guys when I have them all finished. Okay, so I just wanted to jump back in really quick so that I could show you guys these two. This one's pretty simple, but I love the dandelions, so very cute. And then I did some pansies on this one. So because I'm taking these to the show with me tomorrow, I did not want to miss the opportunity to show you the end result. So there are those. I still have these three to do, the 3 cards for the journal that I'm making. And then those were the first 2. So yeah, I will be back with you guys when the other 3 are finished. Alrighty, so there we have it. That is going to be all of them for today. I really liked this one as the postcard, so I recreated it as one of the journal cards. And then I did this one. And this one. My Posca, black Posca didn't run out, so I ended up having to use a different black acrylic marker, my Arteza one, which is a little thinner, but I think that's okay. So yeah, Now I have a couple of cards. I'm probably going to make more of these, but I at least have a couple of cards to put into the next journal that I'm working on. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!